where we were in disagreement on issues as relates to finances, and it manifests itself today. We're in fiscal emergency because of what? Us unwillingness to work together, or is it because council said one thing and the mayor said another? No, we did not agree on everything, but the outcome is what you see today. $8 million in debt. And so now it is up to the Fiscal Commission, a neutral party, with members of council, myself or representative, or my representative, and the mayor, the administration, to be at a table with the other parties representing the state of Ohio, whom also is responsible for the funds that we get here in the city of East Cleveland. So you may recall, those of you all who were here last meeting, there was a gentleman here who came before us from A Demolition who had some concerns over finances. Well, unbeknown to us, this gentleman here in this room has been placed on the Fiscal Commission. Mr. Gus Hoyas, he's also a business person who has dealt with business matters here in the city of East Cleveland. The governor, Governor Kasich, appointed that gentleman to serve on this Fiscal Commission, and he knows the fiscal restraints here that we're facing, constraints here in the city of East Cleveland. We also have Ms. Marianne Nowak. Ms. Nowak is no stranger to East Cleveland financial matters. She served as a member of the Fiscal Commission through the school system. She was responsible of taking a deficit of over $8 million to balancing the books and to placing them back on the road of recovery. And she too has a vested interest, having been an 8-year member of the East Cleveland school system, through being the treasurer, an employee nonetheless. But Governor Kasich saw her worth, her value, and added her as a name to this Fiscal Commission. There is one other party. Perhaps that will be a resident. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a business person. But that person has not been selected. There have been individuals whom I could name, but what's the point? It's ultimately the governor's decision who he feels will provide neutrality and a voice to put us back on the road of recovery. This council has made efforts in the past to address this matter. Some have placed us in position to defend our positions on television. But today the outcomes are the outcomes. Council has made a decision. We cannot increase a budget for money we do not have. It's not fair, ladies and gentlemen. And if no one told you, the state auditor told you, it's not fair. And so today, this council stands firm on its position, not because we want to not have safety and security for its residents. I live here too. I've had to call the police on occasion to come for a domestic dispute of a property that I don't reside in. Let me make that clear. But nonetheless, there have been times when we have all reached out to the safety officers here in our city. It's just not there. This council has placed before the administration an equation that other cities in our state use to fund the police department. We have been diligent on that. It's actually documented in our fiscal recovery plan. A plan that council, independent of the administration, worked on to provide an outcome. Our reality is that it did not have the other element, as what was acknowledged by our councilwoman Barbara J. Thomas, that it needed to have the 5-year forecast. If you're going to do a forecast, it has to have both parties working together at the table to come up with the issues that the administration would know better than the council, who is not in the day-to-day operations, and us, where we could come up with a resolve together. And so as a result of that, it did not happen. We're in fiscal emergency, but there is still an opportunity for us to put together a plan. And that's a mandate from the governor. So we will do it in harmony now with both the administration, the council, and a neutral party. And so that's where we are today. I wanted to acknowledge that, there are the legal matters that we've had meetings on. Not just, we went beyond this. We have legal issues here in our city that required our attention, and we're going to go back to our law director and ask for further information as it relates to certain lawsuits that come before council that will in fact have an impact if the result isn't in our best interest, that will have an impact on the finances of our city. And so we've gone beyond just merely talking about this fiscal recovery, but we still have a job to do. We still have to look at how we're going to operate in this calendar year 2013. So we will be working together. I do want to acknowledge that this council, there was some misstatements, some missteps in remarks that council increased their budget. Council did not get the budget that we deserved in 2012. It was not honored. There are purchase requisitions outstanding in the amount of slightly over $50,000. And so what was placed in the budget through ordinance number 11512, and that was a budget, an ordinance directing the Director of Finance to withhold $56,704.37 from the fiscal year 2012 council budget to pay outstanding requisitions that must be paid prior to the last day of November 2012 and declaring it emergent. This was done in November, seeing what we were seeing, seeing the budget as it was unfolding, and knowing that the time was coming that those dollars perhaps would not be honored. Those bills were not going to be paid.